I was told by somebody that there was an old wrecked E-type Jaguar up in the Stony Hill, in the Blue Mountains, at the Stony Hill Hotel. So this intrigued me, and so I went up one day and had a look, met the owner, and he took me round the back of the hotel, and there, buried in the jungle, was this complete wreck of a car with no wheels or anything. But it was certainly not an E-type. It was the model before that. It was an XK140. So that's how I first came across it. He wanted too much money for it. At the time, it was unrealistic to buy it for that sort of money, since it was just a wreck, basically. And then 2 years later, literally a few weeks before I was due to leave Jamaica, I suddenly saw it again outside the antiquarian antique shop in New Kingston, next to Devon House. And so I went and talked to the owner, who I actually knew the owner of that store. And we reached an agreement, and I bought it.
So that owner would have purchased the car from the person who had it in Stony Hill?
Yes, he did, yeah.
Oh, okay. And tell me, Mr. Churchill, did you have an interest at that time in older vehicles? Tell me, what was the situation at the time?
Yes, I've always been very keen on classic cars. And I had a Jaguar, an old Jaguar in the UK. So that was my original reason for following up this story about an abandoned old Jaguar up in the Blue Mountains. Yeah. But, I mean, then once I bought the car, when I left, I went to live in the States for 2 years. That was my next assignment. And the car went with me. And then when the family moved to Latin America for the following assignment, I sent the car back to the UK, and there it stayed until basically I returned to the UK in the mid-1990s, and the car was eventually started to be restored in about 2006. So it spent many, many years after I bought it, just basically as it was, just total wreck.
Can you say how long the renovation period for the car took?
It took 5 years because I started racing it in 2011.
Okay.
And it's been racing ever since.
Oh, okay. And how many races has it been used in?
Oh, lots. Competitions of all different types, probably 25 to 30 at least.
Oh, okay.
But I started to do circuit racing with it, which is obviously the ultimate type of motorsport, in 2015. And obviously I've done less circuit racing than, say, hill climb sprints simply because of the cost involved. But I still do 2 or 3 races a year in it.
Was it costly to renovate this car?
It's always costly to renovate these old cars. If you give it to a professional restoration company, today you'd be looking, based on the condition it was in when I got it, to restore it today from that condition to its race specification now would cost at least £100,000. That's what, $150,000 US dollars. Doing it yourself, which I did most of it myself, and with the help of friends and amateur mechanics and people, it cost a lot less. But then again, when you race, you're constantly spending money on them. So even as a race car, it's a very expensive hobby, just to keep the thing competitive for the racetrack.
What does this car really mean to you?
Above all, great fun. That's its ultimate aim for me, is to get fun out of it, which I do. And the fact that it raced very early on in its life in Jamaica is an added bonus, because it has that early race history. So, everywhere I go with it, people are very interested to know about it. It has a little Jamaican flag on the driver's door, just as a nod to its early days. People are interested in it. It's fun. It's a lovely old thing.
So other than using it for racing as you are now, there isn't anything else that you'd want to have done with it in the future?
No, I mean, I'm, as I told you, I'm 66 years old. I can't go on racing forever. I've only got a couple more years probably to be racing it before I get too old for that. So at that point, then either I sell it and somebody else carries on, or I keep it and convert it back to more sort of road user type of use.